today's topic, we talked the first week about really putting that business together, really based on who you are at the heart. I still firmly believe, you guys, life is way too short. You should be doing what you enjoy doing. And real estate can be extremely complex, but I find that to be a good thing, because you can pick and choose what you enjoy doing. You can pick and choose how you enjoy doing it, what type of people you like working with. You can pick the hours that work best for you, and really design a business that really just fills you up, lights you up, makes you happy. So that was week 1. Week 2 was controlling the chaos, because life is just crazy, and it's just really important that you do take that time to really figure out where everything fits in on your calendar, realizing that it doesn't have to be done in an 8 to 5 time restriction. It does not have to be there. There's nothing in life that says you have to work these hours. It's all in our head. So you guys figure out what controlling the chaos means to you, because it's different for everybody. So we went through that last week, and then this week I want to talk about effective lead follow-up. Because at the end of the day, you can structure your business however you want. Say, I want to do 6 transactions a year. And if that's your goal, then you need to reverse engineer into how you're going to make that happen. So if 6 transactions a year is what your goal is, then how many people do you need to talk to in order to hit that goal? That's the number you should be focusing on every single day. How many people do I need to talk to today to hit my annual goal? And if I'm talking to X number of people per day to hit my annual goal, the only way you know for sure that those numbers are going to work is by knowing what your conversion is. If I talk to, for example, if I talk to 100 people, if I have 100 referrals a month, and you guys understand mortgage, you know, our commission structure is a little bit different to you guys, so we got to do a lot more transactions. But if I talk to 100 people a month, I know I'll close at least 20 loans a month, because of the way that I have my follow-up system put together for conversion. So I'm always thinking referrals, conversion, because if you know how many referrals you need and you know what the rate at which you're going to convert, you can prove the results. You know what the results are going to be, because it's all a numbers game. But then you've got to always be looking at figuring and trying to figure out, how am I going to hit those numbers? How am I going to convert at the amount that you need it to convert? So national average in the real estate world really is 20%. So whatever your goal is for the year, you need to back into that. And that's, you should close 20% of those referrals if they're a referral generated referral, meaning it came to you as a friend of a friend, a triangle of trust referral. Now, if you're buying leads, that statistic is reduced by greater than half. So knowing where your referrals are coming from will help you predict what the conversion of those referrals should be. And that's conversions is a class all of its own. It's a class that I am very passionate about, because I like numbers and I like predictability. And if you know what your process is for converting, and you know what your systems are that you put in place for converting, you can predict the outcome, and it is pretty spot on, and I've been tracking it for quite a while. So I'm going to share my screen so we can go through. Part of knowing your conversions is knowing what your process and system is for follow-up. So that's one thing that I wanted to specifically speak to you today about, just so that you know and understand my story. So for me, so I've been in the business since 1996, and many years of being in the business. Everything that I did, I mean, my organization was a spiral notebook and sticky notes. That's how I kept up with everything. And if Alex were to say, hey, I've got a family that's looking at buying a house and they'll be contacting you in the next couple of days, I would say, cool, thank you, I appreciate that. And I would wait for that family to call me. I would go ahead and write it down, but I would wait for that family to call me. That's not effective, because I don't have the opportunity to follow up. And my business is not something I could predict because it's not anything I can control. So I learned, and I've got my stats here because my business totally shifted and changed after I spent some time with a mentor of mine. And you can see through the graphs, and I've only got it through 2018, I need to update it, but for the last, I mean, my business is still equally as predictable, but we have worked and increased our conversion. And when you increase your conversion through better follow-up, it means you need to talk to fewer people, which totally puts you back into control. You talk about controlling the chaos. When you get to a point where you can talk to fewer people, but do the same amount of business because you've figured out how to control the chaos, you put processes and systems in place for everything that you do, your life is then something that is just, I mean, it just totally shifts. You feel in control, and it's a happy, joyful business instead of one that just really wears you out and exhausts you, really. Because if you've got to chase more, and make more calls versus just following up with people that you already know, love, and trust, it's just golden. So stats, it's all about the process and systems, and a lot of what I learned I'm going to share with you guys today. So shocking stats. And the reason that I want you guys to pay attention to this, because I want it to be as shocking to you as it is to me. Rather than click on that link, we'll provide this link to you so you can read the article about sales stats. How many of you guys really like making cold calls? I don't see any hands up. I only see a few of you guys, but I suspect nobody's raised their hand. And that's the case for most people. There are very few people I've ever run into that truly love making cold calls. And so some really cool statistics if you click on that link, and we'll get that link sent over to you. But 44% of salespeople give up after one try on follow-up. So let's go back to, let's say Alex sends me a family that is interested in buying a house, and I call them, and he says, here's all of their information, they're waiting to hear from you. And I give them a call, and I call them that one time. And maybe that one time that I call, they happen to be sitting on a Zoom call, just like we are, and I miss them. If I don't try back, I'm not going to get them. Because if I called that one time, they're going to see an unfamiliar phone number on their screen. And even if I were to follow that up with a text message that said, hey, this is Michelle Castle at Guild Mortgage. Alex Little asked me to give you a call. He said, you're thinking about buying a house. How can I help you? Maybe they'll call back at their convenience because Alex already prepared them for the fact that I would be giving them a call and that my team is great and we're going to help them buy a house. But if that is my only reach out to them and they get totally busy and they get 4 or 5 text messages after my text message is no longer on the front of their screen and they're totally distracted and off in another world. They may not even remember I text them the next time Alex calls them and says, hey, did you ever talk to Michelle? Because we didn't talk, they saw a text, they totally forgot about the text because they're distracted. So this day and age, I can't stress the importance enough of knowing and understanding that people are super busy, and just because you did not connect with them and they did not call you back does not mean that they don't want to hear from you. It just means the timing was off, and that can't be the only time you tried. So the other third shocking stat is 80% of sales require 5 follow-ups. Now, we have a full follow-up system that we utilize, and we have our process and procedures right here in our book, and we've got a full follow-up system, and part of those 5 follow-ups is a call, text, and email, because everybody communicates in a different way, and they all have different habits. For me, I have a clean inbox rule, so at the end of the day, I'm not going to go home till my inbox is everything has either been filed away or action taken. But not everybody is that way. So if I call, text, and email, I called them, they're busy, I send them a text, my text gets lost in the world of text, and I send them an email, and my emails just caught up in their inbox because they have so many emails. Within a couple of hours, they could have enough emails that I'm already on the second page of emails. So call, text, email one time is not enough in everybody's busy world. So those are your shocking facts I want you guys to just kind of have in your head, that it is, you are not pestering people when you do what they've asked you to do, which is to help them buy a house or help them sell a home. So some other sales statistics just to drive this information home is 48% of salespeople never follow up with prospect. Back in the olden days, it would go on my list of hopefuls, but I didn't follow up. Now I have, if you guys are going to send a referral to me, we're going to send it using a triangle of trust, email introduction. I have a really formatted system for accepting referrals, not because I'm bossy, but I'm controlling the chaos. And I am paying attention to what my conversions are, because if you trusted me with a referral, and if your friends trusted you with their friends as a referral, they're trusting you to take care of them. And we can't just stop just because nobody called us back the first time. But 48% of salespeople never follow up with prospect because they're scared. There's call reluctance. They don't know what to say. They don't have a process and a system for how they're going to handle that conversation. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop, but only 10%. So you guys, how many people are on this call? I think there's, what, 15? Only 10% of you guys are going to call a contact more than 3 times. And these are contacts that were referred to you. But you, most of the time, what would be the reason that you don't call someone back? Is it because you aren't organized and you don't have a way of keeping track of who you should be calling? Is it because you get busy and you totally forget? What are some of the reasons that you would not call somebody? I know it's not because you don't want that transaction or you don't want to help somebody. Karen, you're at the top of my screen. What would be a reason that you would not call someone after the third, or that you would stop at 2 contacts?
Sorry, I have not created a system, and so that today's going to be helpful. And also probably some fear of rejection.
That is so, yes, you are absolutely right. Yeah. So just knowing and understanding that it is okay to become friends with anybody and everybody and get to know people, because the world becomes a better place when we do. So even if you do nothing more, if you don't ever sell them a house, but you reached out and you're that friendly voice that's smiling at them on the other end of the phone, it's still a good day. You just never know when you just made somebody's day just by making that friendly phone call. And so, yeah, but still, there's still that fear of rejection. Hey, what if they really don't want to buy a house and whoever gave me this referral, you know, just misunderstood? That's legitimate. 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 3% on the second, 5% on the third, 10% on the fourth contact, but 80% of sales take place after the 5th to 12th contact. I can tell you from personal experience how many times we've started a conversation with somebody, they get super busy, and we don't hear from them for 6 or 7 months, but we're still following up with them. And when they're ready to talk and they're ready, I mean, at that point, we just become friends. And then whenever they're ready to do something, they'll let us know. Persistence pays off. So surveys have found that having a call sequence strategy with a salesperson's was a salesperson's best friend. It's processes and systems. It's deciding how many times you're going to reach out, how you're going to reach out, and what you're going to say at each reach out. So I want you guys to write that down. How often are you going to call? How are you going to reach out? And what you're going to say when you reach out. Because when you have that process and system, then it's a lot easier to overcome the fear, because you're just doing what you normally do every single time you get a referral. That referral reach out system could include sending, if you've got an address, sending them a card. That's still a handwritten card is another reach out to them. reaching out to them through social media, through Messenger is still a reach out. Figure out what's true to who you are and implement that in your follow-up system. So follow up, there are specific times that are best to catch people. And again, you guys will get access to these slides, but know and understand that typically you've got to be thinking your buyer or seller's typical behavior. What age is that person? And what do you, I mean, for me, I do a lot of assumptions on what I think they're doing that time of day so I can try to time the best time to reach somebody. If you don't have that luxury, you can always follow the rules or some of the statistics on the best time to reach people. Thursday evenings, between 4 and 5. I always like to say between 4 and 6. I reach more people on Thursday evenings by phone from 4 to 6. But find those time slots based on the type of reach out that you're going to make. Sorry guys, now I'm going the wrong way. Millennials in the marketplace. So 50% of your first-time home buyers are millennials. They are making that buying decision. I love, love, love helping these young home buyers really get going in the right direction. I did a Facebook Live last night, and I really, while I'm doing that Facebook Live, I was thinking how cool it would be to all of these graduating seniors or high school and college, really helping them understand credit and what their next steps should be in establishing credit to make sure that they don't make any of the mistakes that a lot of us have made in regards to credit. How cool a Zoom call would be for that. Just because videoing is the best way to reach those millennials. So 70% would cut back on extracurricular expenses to be able to buy a home. Our millennials are thinking home buying. Of course, I was talking graduates, which aren't quite there yet, but still your younger home buyers. So if you're going to be doing follow-up for that age group, you need to know and understand that age group because their way of communicating is a little bit different. Text messaging is one of the best ways to reach them, and video. If you guys have not implemented video in your communication, you're missing it. We use a lot of video when we're doing emails because people will open an email and read the content of the email if they see a video is in the email. So even if they don't click on the video to watch the video, the fact that they see some movement, they see there was a video in it, but they will open it up. They're more likely to open it up than just an email with content. But that point is very important to know and understand too, is you better put what you're wanting them to specifically hear in the body of the email because they're not necessarily going to click on the video and watch it. And think about it, if a video came across and they're in the workplace during the day and they see a video come across, they're not going to click on that video and listen to a video whenever they've got coworkers sitting all around them. So they're not always going to watch the video, but they will still open the email at a higher rate if a video is in the email. But 80% of your buyers purchase their home through a real estate agent or broker. A share that's been steadily increasing from 69% in 2001. The reason I put that stat in here is because millennials, I want you guys to know and understand that millennial is going to do a lot of research on their own. So providing them information to be able to do their research and safe places for them to go. Now also know and understand that they are not as likely to read everything or believe everything they read. So you being that source of information to help them do their research and be that person to help talk them through that research will help you in building a relationship with their millennials in which they choose to work with you. That age group is one of my favorites to work with. But you have got to know and understand how how they're different, and how you're going to convert them, and what your follow-up system needs to be if you're going to focus on that age group. When you guys are you're setting up your processes and systems, I want you guys to be thinking back again at who is your home buyer, or who is your ideal home seller. What age group, what type of home, where do they live, what is their lifestyle? That way, when you're putting together your strategic follow-up program, you're speaking to that demographic, and you're tailoring what you do to that demographic. That does not mean that's the only person you're going to serve, but those are the people that you're going to more likely attract. And knowing what their behaviors are and how they like to be communicated with needs to be part of that strategy that you put together for effective follow-up. And I'm happy to send over some further information, but I want to talk to you guys right now and kind of transition on how you're going to keep track of this information. So I can't see everybody, so I'm going to stop share, and I want y'all to raise your hand if you are using a CRM right now, or are you using a CRM right now? A customer retention management system. Okay. If you're not, are you guys using an Excel spreadsheet? Okay. All of those are perfectly fine as long as you have a process and a system for keeping up with the information. I have created a spreadsheet for those of you who are not on a CRM, and I have several CRMs that I've heard are very effective if you are looking for a CRM. They are not very expensive. The one thing you do need to know about a CRM, so if you're going to have a system that helps you keep track and sends out birthday greetings for people and sends out automated emails, however you build that out, you're going to have to schedule at least 2 hours on your calendar every single day till you get the system built out, finished up, you get your database put into it, and then after that, you still have got to put on your calendar 1 hour, and I don't care if you're using a spreadsheet, pen and paper, or a CRM, every single day you guys have got to calendar at least a 1 hour period of time that you're working on your business, which includes that CRM, so that you're not missing any opportunities and you're not converting in a sloppy way, because it'll just waste time. So keeping track of those leads is key, because you can't be consistent if you don't know who in the heck to call. For me, my CRM is so specific with the list because we update stages, we update tasks, and we update notes every time we ever enter into that contact within our system, so that I can click and I can say, okay, I need a list of everybody that's been pre-qualified but has not sent us paperwork so we can get them pre-approved. Because I'll tell you, people all the time, they'll go do an application, well, hey, we'll let them know, hey, things look good from here, but we've got to have your paperwork before you can go house hunt because you need to be pre-approved. And that's the hard part, is getting them to take that step to get us the paperwork. So oftentimes that's our longest list of follow-up. And so we consistently just check in and see how life is going and see when they might get that paperwork to us, because the sooner we can get them pre-approved, the sooner you guys can get them under contract. And that is very important to us. But my system, based on stages, will give me a list of everybody that I need to call. And when you guys build out your CRM, you will have a list that you will be able to pull and see how many referrals did I get from people that I go to church with, you know, because you could code it out that way. Or how many people have, and just do a full follow-up on a list based on where they came from. Or you could do a follow-up on who has been referred to a mortgage lender with the mortgage lender's information, so that you can follow up with that mortgage lender and see what the status is. You get to build your CRM based on the parameters of that CRM. Stages and business sources and all that. Top Producer's another good one. Yes. What are some of the other CRMs that you guys are using? Okay, I'll give you guys a list. There was somebody texted me the other day, Shelly, the author of the book. If you guys have not already picked up your copy of Your First 365 Days in Real Estate, please let me know. I'll get that book to you because it's amazing. But I was talking to Shelly the other day, and there's another CRM that she was suggesting. So I'll be sure to give you guys a couple of CRMs. But I want to go over a spreadsheet, because until you get up and running, using a spreadsheet is perfectly fine. We used a spreadsheet here in our office for 3 or 4 years before we converted over to Salesforce. So it is still a process, it's still a system. So the spreadsheet that I have a copy of that I will send to you, Rochelle will send it in the link from today's call, is built out with the basic information, and then you guys can tailor it however you choose to tailor it. So for us in our office, I always want 1 referral to turn into 2 at minimum, right? So some of the referral sources that we have in here is current client referral, because when we're working with a client, we're always reminding them, hey, listen, that's a great question. And if you've got friends or family that have a question like that too, please send them my way, because I'd love to help them buy a home also. So we are always having that conversation with the clients that we're working with, because again, I want to turn 1 client into 2. If I get to call you and say, hey, I have, Karen, I just talked to Joe Blow, and Joe's got a friend that's also thinking about buying a house. You're really thrilled with me, because that one Joe Blow that you referred to me, I just turned into another referral for you. So current client referral, I want you guys to get really comfortable in having that conversation and asking for referrals. You do not have to wait till the loan or the transaction funds before you ask for a referral. Always be asking for a referral, because you are a helpful person. You love what you do, and you want to help everybody that you possibly can, which means the friends and family of everybody you're working with. Past client referral. So staying in touch with your database is good for business, because you get good past clients, but it's also good for business because you are constantly asking, hey, listen, it is great to hear that you and the kids are doing well. I'm so glad that you're healthy. I know I'm always here for all your friends and family. Who do you know that is thinking about buying a house? Or who do you know that is thinking about selling a house? So always take that opportunity to have that conversation and grow your database. Shelly talks about that a lot in the book, your first 365 days in real estate, as a reminder and just reinforcement to grow your database. For those of you guys who don't know her story, she was brand new in a town, knew like 8 people when she started real estate, and built a business around just doing a really good job, building a database, staying in touch with people, and doing all of those little special things with processes and systems to make people, to remind people that she cares and she wants to help them. Personal friends, realtor, advertising, business partner, builder, you guys can customize the spreadsheet however you choose to customize it. But knowing and understanding where your business is coming from helps you design your business the way you want it to be. So years ago, we used to co-market with agents that were doing Zillow leads. No longer do that. And the reason is because they don't convert. You have to follow up before you can get somebody to even call you back. And chances are they've clicked on the button and talked to 5 other people all at the same time because they just got click happy. So if that's how you've got your business set up and you have a process and a system and you know what your conversion is, more power to you. But knowing and understanding where your business is coming from is one of the most important things that you can track when you're trying to track your business. And it just helps that follow-up conversation. For me, your triangle of trust, for those of you guys do not know and understand what a triangle of trust is. I know you, you know them, therefore we should all know each other. And because we all know each other, then even if you don't know me totally, because you knew me through somebody else that you love and respect, all of a sudden, I mean, automatically that person is put at ease because you referred them. So it's super important that you always are connecting that triangle of trust. So anybody that is referring business to me, I'm really specific on how I want to be referred. And you guys need to figure out how you want to be referred to. And I can send you an example of what that looks like. But you're going to edify me, and you're going to edify that client that you're referring to me, and I in return am going to edify you in front of that client. because then that forms that triangle of trust, and we're all doing business with people at that point that we know, and we think we like each other, but we'll soon learn that we love each other and we trust each other. And so the whole tracking where your business coming from just is such a big deal. But in that spreadsheet, we'll also keep up with all of their contact information and the last time you talked to them, and then make notes on what your last conversation was. So you are always carrying on a conversation based on your previous conversation. A spreadsheet, when we were using our spreadsheets, we used Google Drive so that we had access to our spreadsheet at all times. So if you're using an Excel spreadsheet and you download on your phone Google Drive or some of those other shared drives and upload your spreadsheet on it, and you're always using the spreadsheet from that upload, then whenever you are driving out and about and you need to give someone a call, you know, you've got your daughter in piano lessons and you're sitting out in the car and you're going to make a couple of phone calls and check on people, then you can pull that spreadsheet up from your phone, and it's those phone numbers are hyperlinked. So is the email address. So that is one reason we like spreadsheets when that was our CRM, because we could access it anywhere. I can show you some other examples if you guys want to schedule a one-on-one and sit down and really build out your Excel spreadsheet. I'm a color person. We talked about that whenever we were doing the calendar class. And I would actually change the color of my client based on the status of where we were in that process, so I at a quick glance could see where we're at. So for us, red meant that they didn't credit qualify, and it didn't mean that we didn't follow up with them at all. If we pull a credit and someone doesn't credit qualify, we're going to counsel them on how to qualify later, and then we're going to set a reminder of when to reach out to them again. So if you have that, your spreadsheet set up where what day you're going to reach out to them again, you can always sort that spreadsheet by date, and you know exactly who you need to call on this day based on what you've scheduled for your next reach out for that person. And that's how you start a process in a system. So once you start tracking this information, then you can start really putting goals together. I've got a goal calculator that I'm going to send to you that is already pre-programmed, where you can go in there and go, okay, financially, I want to make X number of dollars. Average sales price in this area is X number of dollars. My commission split is X number or X percent. So in order to gross this amount of money, this is how many transactions I need to do based on the average sales price in this area, right? And you can determine how many transactions you need in order to hit that financial goal backing into it. Again, if you want some 101 on how to do this specifically, then you just need to get with me. I'll send you a calendar link to my calendar and we'll go over that specifically. But if you don't already know what your financial goal is, backing into it for average sales price with your commission split, then let's talk. If you know what that information is, this goal calculator that I'm going to send to you will help you back into how many people you need to talk to in order to meet that goal, which is golden. But know and understand that this is based on the national average for conversion. So without a good process and system and follow-up, you're not going to hit national average. So does that, I wanted to leave enough time for you guys on Q&A. I can send with this also. I'm going to stop sharing for a second so I can see y'all's beautiful faces. I can send to you guys too a, oh, Zoho. Kobe just put in chat, Zoho is another highly recommended CRM platform. So we'll give you a list. But I can send you a copy of what our follow-up cadence is if you guys really just want to mimic what we're doing, because our follow-up system is going to be the same for you guys. Our conversion is pretty much the same as it is for you guys. But once you know and understand how many people you need to talk to, and you know what your follow-up system is for reaching out to them and staying in touch with them, then you can really start predicting what your business is going to look like. Even in the COVID days, you can predict what your business is going to look like. But I also highly recommend that you get the book, if you don't already have a copy from me, Your First 365 Days in Real Estate, because Shelly really does a good job of breaking this all down into a daily tactics. And it's just a super easy book to read. Like, you can read it in a couple of hours in an afternoon. So, but getting your Excel spreadsheet set up will be such a relief once you've done that. The way we've got it even set up, there's tabs on there that you can create where you just have your top favorite people in the whole wide world. These people may or may not be buying a house, but they're people that you thoroughly enjoy and you need to stay in touch with them. You guys, life is busy. And there's a lot of people I know that you really, really enjoy their company, and you just get busy and you can't even remember the last time you talked to them. Those are the people that need to be on your favorite list, so you can remember to stay in touch. Because the last thing you want to happen is for something to happen to that person and they have been on your mind and you never reached out and they're no longer around. So, you know, having people, friends on a list of people that you have to remind yourself to reach out to is not silly. It's really a good idea. Putting family in your database as a CRM. Listen, your family typically, you may have some family members that may not be your biggest fan, but typically your family is your biggest fan. And staying in touch with them and letting them know what's going on in real estate is a great idea, because they have friends and they have referrals for you. And you talk about a triangle of trust. I mean, they're going to rave about you. So those are people that go in your CRM. And then just people in general. It does not have to be people that have raised their hand and said, hey, I want to buy a house in the next 30 days. That is not the only people that you're putting on the list. So once you start building out your list, you'll start thinking of people that need to be on that list, that you need to do a better job of being a better friend and staying in touch. And then figure out what that means for you. Even if staying in touch means that you know this person well enough and you saw that they were on Facebook at 9:30 at night and you shoot them a message and you have a conversation through Messenger, just checking to see how they're doing. And then you don't always have to remind them, hey, guess what? Don't forget, I'm in real estate. That's not what it's all about. Sometimes it's just staying in touch and just feeling like a better person because you did. Do y'all have any questions? You guys are open to talk about and ask questions however you'd like.
Michelle,
Yes.
You mentioned just briefly the video emails, and I've received a couple from you in the past. Do you use a certain program, or are those just pre-recorded and you're just attaching them?
It depends. I use video in a lot of different ways. So I oftentimes reply to an email. Like if you send a referral to me and it's during the day and I'm sitting at my desk and you guys use the Triangle Trust referral, then a lot of times I'll reply with the video so that people can see a name with a face. That is not a canned response. That is organic. I just hit record. And the software that I use for that is BombBomb. For anybody who wants me to show them how to do BombBomb, we can log in and do that at any time. But BombBomb makes it super easy for you to also, now some of the recorded videos that you've received have been videos that I sent through my CRM that's tied to BombBomb, because BombBomb does integrate with a lot of the CRMs. So I could click on a list of and send a video specific to that list. But BombBomb also, I have some videos that we've saved that explain the loan process. So, you know, we do have some that are canned that the team will choose from and send a video out on my behalf that says, hey, we're super excited. We got you pre-qualified, but we don't have your paperwork. Let me explain why we need your paperwork. Please get it to us right away. Don't go looking for a house until we get it. So some of those are canned. So BombBomb allows you to pick from a library, or you can do one off, or you can send to a list. There's a couple of different services that we use. Corey was going to talk in more detail about BombBomb and his conversion and how much his conversion increased when he started using BombBomb about 3 years ago. So yeah, that's what I use. It's pretty inexpensive. I mean, it's not, it's under $100, but it's close to $100 a month for the subscription. And they've got different levels. They do have some of those BombBomb videos where you could pre-record. You could put you upload your spreadsheet to BombBomb, and it will go ahead and send out auto videos specific to a cadence that you set. So it can work as a drip campaign as well. I don't have it set up that way. I prefer to, drag and drop from a library of videos rather than have the can. But yes, very effective, very good open rate. Another program that you guys, I can't speak enough about how effective HomeBot is for retaining customers and creating raving fans. People love HomeBot. I did an interview with Nev Hewitt and Corey because both of them have HomeBot, and another person that is a big believer in HomeBot is Josh Long. Josh will tell you in his first 60 days of uploading his database to HomeBot, he ended up with 5 referrals. And it's because the information is so that people just love the information. You can use it for lead generating, but more than anything, it's just the open rate is phenomenal. And that's another service that we provide that you can, because we have it available, it is very affordable for you guys to use it on your end. BombBomb is not the case. You guys have to buy that on your own. But HomeBot is free for a year for you guys. And then after that, you start paying. But it's something that Guild believes in because of the conversion. You guys remember, Guild, people make their payments to us. So retaining those customers are super important to us, and that's kind of hard to do because there's so many companies out there mailing everybody all this, distracting information. But the retention was so strong with HomeBot that Guild provided it for every customer and every loan officer. But that's another, it could be used also as with your CRM. So it's all about follow-up. It's just talking to people and keeping that conversation going. But if you don't have a record for the last time you followed up and had a conversation, what the conversation was and how you communicated with that person, then you're going to lose touch because time we all live in a time warp. And you think that you talked to someone 2 days ago and it's really been 4 weeks and they already talked to another agent now. And it's just because you just let too much time go and they just totally forgot. People's attention span is like that, y'all. So if we're not staying in front of them, they get distracted and go a different direction pretty quick and easy.